What's up, everybody? Merry Christmas Eve. Unfortunately, I do not have good news to bring you. I am not Santa Claus in this story. I actually feel like the freaking Grinch. Because we got some news that we got to talk through, including running back Jerick McKinnon. Just 30 minutes ago, it was announced he was placed on injured reserve, which is not good news, in my opinion. A little bit surprising. So we got to talk about that, as well as multiple Chiefs players being ruled out in the Christmas matchup against the Raiders. So let's talk about it. But first, how about the Chiefs? All right, I hope you guys are doing well. I hate to bring you this news on Christmas Eve. We've already opened presents for the day. We got family coming over here in a bit. We're about to open some more presents, so this isn't going to be a long stream. But this is what we do for a living. This is what I do for a living here, and updating you guys, the HBTC community, Chiefs fans, Chiefs Kingdom, etc. I saw this news, and I had to jump on and just process through it real quick. First up, there were 4 players ruled out for the Chiefs and Raiders game. None of this was surprising because all these players didn't participate in practice all week. So you had, let's see. I'm kind of glad Chris Jones is better. Thank God, by the way. He was out Thursday, Friday with an illness. Then Nick Bolton was out Thursday, but again, they're good to go. But the 4 that wasn't a surprise to me, was that's not playing tomorrow, was running back Jerick McKinnon, wide receiver Kadarius Toney, wide receiver McCole Hardman, and left tackle Donovan Smith, because Toney and McKinnon didn't participate all week. Toney's out with a hip issue, McKinnon with the groin. So Jerick McKinnon has been dealing with a lingering groin issue for weeks and weeks. He's been on the injury report. He didn't play, I think, for a game here or there recently, and was in limited fashion at times, but then he did step up when Isaiah Pacheco was out for a couple of weeks due to his shoulder surgery. So that's kind of what was going on with McKinnon. We'll get to him in more depth in a moment here. I just want to process through the other guys here real quick. Kadarius Toney, I don't understand a little bit there what's going on with his hip, because he finished the game last week. We all saw him finish the game. We saw him drop that pass near the end of the game, but Kadarius Toney is out. Okay, then McCole Hardman, he was a limited participant Thursday, Friday. There's nothing here on Saturday, which is a bit weird. He's unspecified technically because he's not being brought back from IR. So McCole Hardman's 21-day window to return from IR is open. They opened it this week, so he's getting limited work in from the thumb surgery he had roughly a month ago. He's not going to be in the game either, okay? So that's there's like a big shakeup in the wide receiver room. Sky Moore got placed on IR. Let me just switch back full screen for a second. Sky Moore got placed on IR. McCole Hardman's not back yet, but Kadarius Toney is also ruled out. So you've got a bit of a shakeup. Justin Ross is back. He will be playing in some capacity. I think Richie James is going to get the majority of these snaps, at least in regards to what Sky Moore was getting. I think we're going to see an uptick in Richie James's snaps, which I'm happy with. This is a guy that got 550 yards last year with Daniel Jones and the Giants. He missed a lot of this season, was on IR due to like a MCL injury in his knee that he sustained week 2 or week 3 of the regular season, was out for like 10 weeks, okay? But with that being said, that's what the room was looking like. That's what things were trending towards. And then I will say this too real quick. There's a freaking lot of guys on this injury report, but they're all good to go. But Isaiah Pacheco, he's back. He missed 2 games due to a minor shoulder procedure he had. It's a cleanup surgery. Nothing else needed repaired on his shoulder or anything like that. But thank God Pacheco is going to be in there, because it's going to be him and Clyde, with McKinnon initially ruled out, now placed on IR. Again, we're going to get there in a second. Let me just touch on Donovan Smith real quick. He was limited all week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, ruled out again. I think this is the 3rd week in a row, I believe, that left tackle Donovan Smith has been ruled out of a game. So that means the rookie left tackle, Wanye Morris, is going to get more work in there. And honestly, I've been liking what I'm seeing from Wanye Morris so far. It's kind of unfortunate, in my opinion. He has to go through these growing pains now towards the end of the season. But you know what? Donovan Smith, in my opinion, was a 1-year Band-Aid on the left tackle position. And if this gives the Chiefs and the coaching staff and Brett Veach and company more opportunities to see what Wanye Morris looks like, Wanye Morris, if he impresses enough, could be the Chiefs left tackle for the foreseeable future on a very cheap rookie deal. The reason why I like that is because in the offseason, they have a lot of decisions to make. They've got a lot that they've got to go through, including Chris Jones. They've got to deal with that. There's a lot of guys on their last year of their deal. Willie Gay, L'Jarius Sneed, Clyde's on his last year. You've got a couple other D linemen. I think Mike Dana, maybe Turk Wharton. You've got Drew Tranquill just on a one-year deal. You've got multiple guys that you could start having conversations with about extending that are still under contract. The main guys, Nick Bolton, Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey. A lot of decisions to make. So I'm saying all that to say, if you can get enough looks from Wanya Morris and think, well, maybe this could be the guy on a rookie deal, and you don't have to go out there in free agency or trade way up into the draft and invest a bunch of capital in a long-term blindside protector of Patrick Mahomes and his Wanya Morris, that would be awesome. That's a whole nother deal, a whole nother video. I digress about that for now. What I want to talk about is what was just announced. Okay, we already knew McKinnon was going to be out. What we didn't know is that this groin issue he's dealing with was bad enough to have him placed on injured reserve right here. Okay, so what that means is he's out for 4 weeks. It's a little bit different rules with injured reserve when you're getting into the playoffs, into the postseason. It's not necessarily just games played, but it's weeks. Okay, so if he's out now, that means it's Christmas Eve, so it's the 24th, right? So let me see if I can do this. I've got my calendar app open. I want to pull this up. I just want to talk about how long Jerick McKinnon is out and when he could come back. So it's the 24th, right? So he could be out. He's out the 31st of January, the 7th of December. Let me see. Are they doing this by games? Like how exactly? 31st is 1 week. 7th, 14th, 21st? Like he might be able to be back for the divisional round is kind of what I'm getting at there. But the Chiefs got to make it there. If they're not the 1 seed, if the Ravens don't lose 2 games and the Chiefs don't win out and the Dolphins don't win one or lose 1 game, the Chiefs aren't getting the 1 seed and they'll have to play the wild card round on the 13th. I don't believe McKinnon can be back. If there's anybody in chat, I will answer a couple of questions and hang out with you guys for a few minutes, but I want to get off and spend Christmas with my family. If anybody in chat can confirm that, I think that means the earliest Jerick McKinnon could come back or even have his window opened is potentially for this game. If it's not for the divisional round, it's the AFC Championship, which basically means Jerick McKinnon is finished for the season. Obviously, unless the Chiefs can make it that far, we're pulling for them to make it that far. I hope they make it that far. But that's big news because Jerick McKinnon, third down back, violent, passionate protector of Patrick Mahomes, picking up blitzes. Jerick McKinnon is a little guy, but oh my goodness. Everybody's saying, look at chat. Yeah, I see you guys in there, but I wanted to give this news update before I say hi to anybody because there's just so much going on here. I want to get all the news up front. I'll hang out with you guys for a few minutes, and I'm going to jump off. That's big news, man. McKinnon to IR, it kind of sucks. What they did is they signed LaMichael Pirine, running back LaMichael Pirine, to an active roster contract. So what I think is going to happen is you're basically going to now be seeing Pacheco and Clyde. When Jerick McKinnon was injured for a couple of weeks back, just a few weeks ago, when he was still dealing with this groin injury that he's been wrestling through, you had Pop Pacheco, basically the first, second down back, and then CEH was predominantly coming in as the third down back. I would imagine that's how they continue it. If they want to nurse Pacheco a little bit, considering he just had his shoulder cleaned up and they want to kind of offset his reps, maybe CEH will be in there for more than just third downs, and CEH could be the workhorse. LaMichael Pirine, he's been called up a few times, and that's why they had to sign him to the active roster. They couldn't call him up from the practice squad anymore. They've already done all 3 of his elevations that they were allowed to do with him. But LaMichael Pirine, man, he's just kind of I would say use in case of emergency type of a guy right now. I think it's going to be Pop Pacheco, and I think it's going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting the work, most of the work in. Other than that, as far as big news, they did elevate a couple players to from the practice squad for this matchup tomorrow against the Raiders. Nose tackle Mike Pennell, which they did that last week, and he saw some snaps, and he was doing all right in some of his snaps against the run, especially. Then wide receiver Montrell Washington was elevated via standard elevation. If he dresses out, you could see potentially Montrell Washington being the team's returner, because that's what he was doing when Richie James was on IR. Then you'll see Richie James playing a bigger role on the offense. You could see that, or Richie James still is being the returner. But I'm just seeing all the injuries right now in the wide receiver room, talking about Sky Moore to IR, Kadarius Toney is out, McCole Hardman is not yet back. Like, you're going to need Richie James to step up, so he could still be the returner and play on offense. It's not like the end of the world if he has to do that, but Montrell Washington is a very dependable returner, and just in case, man, you're going to have him up. I would assume he dresses out as well. So there's kind of the news, guys. I wanted to give that to you as quickly as humanly possible because there's a lot in there. I wasn't necessarily going to go live until I saw Jerick McKinnon got placed on IR. IR moves are a big deal, in my opinion, so I'm always going to hop on to give you guys breaking news when they're doing some of these roster moves before a game. But there you have it, man. You've got left tackle Donovan Smith out, Kadarius Toney out. Then you have McCole Hardman out, which that's not a surprise because he's not back from IR yet. They just opened his 21-day window to return, and he started practicing with the team. And then you had running back Jerick McKinnon out, and then he got placed on IR. Jerick McKinnon out, LaMichael Pirine in. You also have Justin Ross in the wide receiver room as well. So again, it's going to be an intriguing thing to see. What are the Chiefs going to do against the Raiders? I think Rashee Rice, obviously, will be getting a lot of reps. Then, I don't know, Richie James will be getting a little bit. You have MVS still. You have Justin Watson still. I think Justin Watson gets more snaps than MVS. I just did a video on Friday about MVS and his very depressing, discouraging fall off this year. It's pretty bad. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it. I cover like an 8 to 10 minute segment just on MVS and how much he has fallen off this year compared to last. With all that being said, that's kind of the biggest news that I have. As far as like the Raiders and their injuries, I have a bunch of people listed as questionable, including Josh Jacobs. I don't know if Josh Jacobs is going to play, which I guess you can't see that because I didn't share my screen, but Josh Jacobs questionable. Colton Miller is questionable. DJ Turner is questionable. The only guy actually ruled out is, I don't know if that's Jesper Horsted. I'm not super familiar with that guy, to be honest. But Max Crosby's going to play. So lots going on, man. I wish I had better news. I wish I had better news for you guys for Christmas. I really did. But that's kind of what's going on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will spend a few minutes hanging out with chat because some people are going crazy in here. TPC Silver with the 2 months. 2 months. Let's freaking go. And he dropped the 10 gifted. Bro, I appreciate you. What a Christmas present. Let's go, dude. Randy with the 14 months said, Merry Christmas to my HBTC family. Mr. Robinson said, Cole, didn't want to hear that. Not today about McKinnon. Yeah, my wife said, hey, do you want to put your Christmas hat on, your Santa hat on? It's Christmas Eve. I was like, no, because I don't feel like Santa Claus right now. I feel like the freaking Grinch. If you have a Grinch mask, I'll put it on because I have to go tell everybody that one of the most dependable running backs in the Chiefs room as far as a protector for Mahomes, a pass catcher out of the backfield, red zone threat, who was just starting to kind of heat up in the back half of the season, is being placed on IR. No Santa hat. This is bad. This is like, I'm putting lumps of coal, no pun on my first name. I'm putting lumps of coal in all of HBTC's stockings, and it makes me sad. Yeah, so I'm sorry about that. Randy, appreciate the 14 months. Chief Kelsey said, can't McKinnon come back after 4 weeks if the Chiefs haven't elevated 8 players already off IR? I talked about it earlier. I think he can come back after 4 weeks. Yeah, but the earliest is going to be like I think the 20th, I believe. But I mean, he's missing 1, which is the 25th. The 31st is the next week. I just don't know. What I don't know is if they're counting the game he misses tomorrow as 1 game, and then New Year's Eve game is the 2nd. If so, the 3rd week that he's missing is the 7th, and then the 14th, you could open up his window that week, and he could return for whatever I said earlier. He could potentially be returning for the divisional round. I would presume the Chiefs at least make it that far, whether or not they don't get the first seed or not. I would love the first round bye. But yeah, I think that's when he can come back. So McKinnon's finished for 4 weeks and pending them being able to make a deeper postseason run. We don't know how serious this injury is. He could come back after 4 weeks, but I just don't really know. So a bit unfortunate. Brian, what's up, man? Merry Christmas, HBTC, and thanks again for your beard, man. Been getting lots of action. Dude, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Suze, Merry Christmas indeed. Merry Christmas indeed. Should you start Pacheco? I mean, I don't know who your other running backs are, but I think Pacheco, especially with McKinnon out on IR, is going to be getting his reps in. He was cleared, from what Andy Reid said, the surgeon cleared him to play last week. They held him out an extra week to be extra cautious. So I think he is going to be good to go. So there you have it, guys. I'm gonna get back up here in just a couple minutes. I'll look at a couple more comments in chat, but I want to get back up with my family because this is basically our Christmas. How was looking at Christmas lights on Saturday? It was good, Trevor. We just drove around a bunch of neighborhoods in the Lee Summit area, and we found a couple places where you can like sync them up to your radio. So I was doing like a light show, and the radio was synced up, and the kids were really enjoying that. Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. You think you would shave your beard for 100,000? 100,000? I mean, yeah, probably, but not less than that. I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you that right now. Yo, thanks again, TPC, for the 10 gifted, man. What a gift. I hope you guys are having, MVS is going to play. Yes, sir. He's in. MVS is in. Justin Watson is in. They'll probably run a lot more 12 personnel, meaning Noah Gray and Travis Kelce. And that means one less receiver is going to be off the field. So they'll have some answers. They did that more last week as well. I'm not super worried about that. I'm just a little bit more concerned about McKinnon being placed on IR. That's more than just this week's game against a Raiders team that we have no idea what's going on with them right now. They scored 0 points 2 weeks ago, 63 last week. I mean, that's rather up and down. That's a yo-yo of a team right now. You never know what team you're going to get. I predicted a 30-17 Chiefs victory, but you can't sleep on a division opponent. Just unfortunate to hear about Jerick McKinnon. Definitely. Yep, Smiley, appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. We'll be back for the live play-by-play reaction tomorrow at noon in roughly 21 hours. We'll be back about 20 minutes before the game, and we will get ready for it. So appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. Again, if you just now hopping in, you want to know about all the updates. I just talked about it off the cuff for about 10 minutes with all these things that are kind of going on with the Chiefs right now. It's definitely the end of the season. People are, hurt, banged up, and fighting through it. But Jet McKinnon getting placed on IR puts a sour taste in my mouth. Not in the sense of like, I'm upset with McKinnon. It just, I want him, it's all about health and player safety. Like, they need to take care of their bodies. But it's just a bummer because he's such a valuable asset in the running back room. And that's a weapon down. That's a weapon down on an already up and down Chiefs offense. This is not the same Chiefs offense we're used to in previous years. You're talking about a team that averages the 10th most points per game when they were first last year. They were 14th right now in the red zone. They were second last year. They've scored under 20.6 games this year when it took them 5 years to score under 20 points 6 times in the Mahomes era, but they've done it 6 times this year. The last 5 years prior, they've done it 6 times only. So it's already an offense that can't lose these veterans. It can't lose the experience out there because they need it. They need it very badly. So we're going to see what the wide receiver room looks like tomorrow. No Toney. McColl's not back yet. Sky's on IR. So Richie James might get some more reps. Justin Ross returns. There's a lot of changes going on. And I think in the wide receiver room, those are some changes for the better. So we'll definitely have to see. Like the lights, Cole? Yeah, I got the lights. You guys voted the Christmas lights in for the Christmas stream. So we ordered the lights. They came in from Amazon. And I think they look fine. I like them. So I appreciate you guys. Have a Merry Christmas. Be safe out there if you're drinking. And if you plan on going anywhere, Uber, wait it out, get a friend, be safe because it could be potentially dangerous out there too. It's wet. And then some people just, no matter what, man, they'll drink and they'll go drive. So just be safe out there, please. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for the Christmas stream. Appreciate y'all. I'm going to go have Christmas dinner in about an hour, go play with my girls. They just opened up a bunch of presents and we got some more to open up. So until next time, which is tomorrow, let's go. Merry freaking Christmas.